During the long, cold, dark of winter, Anchorage movie theaters offered us a relief from the grip of cabin fever. For 2 hours or more, you could enjoy a movie or two if it was a double feature. In the 1940s, 1950s, and into the early 1960s, you might also see a cartoon, a serial, or a newsreel just before your movie. Movies and television were our window on the world outside of Alaska.
Austin Eugene Cap Lathrop is considered to be Alaska's first homegrown millionaire. The Lathrop Movie Theater Group began back in 1916 when Cap Lathrop built the Empress Theater. Located on 4th Avenue near G Street, it was the very first movie theater in Anchorage. Lathrop also built Empress Theaters in other towns in Alaska, including Cordova. At the time, movies were still silent. In 1917, a 211 Kimball organ was installed. Jim Orcutt was the organist. Mike of Anchorage Memories recalls going to see movies at the Empress back in the early 1950s. The last movie Mike saw there was in about 1953. It was the classic science fiction movie Invaders from Mars. The Empress closed in the 1950s.
And here's a bonus. Some years later, KTVA Channel 11 Chief Engineer Franklin Butte used parts of the Empress Theater's Kimball organ in Uncle's Pizza Restaurant, managed by Chuck Martin. It's our understanding that the restaurant closed in the 1970s. While the Empress was a grand theater, the dream of Anchorage's first movie palace started with construction of the 4th Avenue Theater in 1941. But the world had other ideas, and World War II caused completion of the theater to be delayed until 1947. Cap Lathrop really went all out for the 4th Avenue Theater. It was an Art Deco, streamlined modern, and Art Moderne style building. The theater had a combined seating capacity of 1,100, and that included the balcony. And you might not know this, but Cap Lathrop was not convinced that a concession stand was appropriate. Years later, we're all happy that one was added. The 4th Avenue Theater was a wonderful experience for Alaskans, and its memory means something special to each of us. Mary of Anchorage Memories recalls heading right to the concession stand in the 4th Avenue Theater after getting her ticket at the box office. By the way, her favorite treats included a box of popcorn, a Pepsi, and Flicks candy. Then it was time to head into the auditorium for a fun afternoon of movies.
For those who came to Anchorage sometime after the 1964 Great Alaska Earthquake, some folks don't realize that the Denali Theater wasn't always located in Spenard. Its original location was next to a bar on 4th Avenue. The Denali sank to its theater marquee during the 1964 earthquake. Following that event, it was relocated to Spenard. The very first movie Mike of Anchorage Memories recalls seeing at the Denali on 4th Avenue ended up being a big mistake. Mike was just a boy at the time. Here's Mike's story.
Me, my sister Anna, and my brother Tom were walking downtown with our mom, Louise Doherty. As we came closer to the Denali Theater, Mom said, "Hey, do you kids want to see a movie?" Of course, we got very excited and shouted, "Yes, yes, yes!" Then Mom said, "Okay, Mike, you're the oldest. You get to choose the movies." When we found ourselves in front of the Denali, they had a sandwich board on the sidewalk with a display about the current movie they were showing. Well, I looked it over and I said, "This one. Let's see this one." In her wisdom, Mom knew it was a mistake, and she said, "Are you sure?" Well, we ended up in the Denali, where we saw the 1962 low-budget black-and-white movie, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. The movie was tame by today's standards, but back then it scared me half to death, and I think my brother Tom spent most of the time with his hands over his eyes.
When it first opened in 1965, the Fireweed Theater was the largest movie theater in Alaska. Among the many movies we remember seeing at the Fireweed were 2001, A Space Odyssey, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and Herbie the Love Bug. For the Love Bug, they displayed a Volkswagen in the lobby looking like it was the star of the movie. And it seems to us that KBYR Radio hosted a screening of the movie Woodstock in the Fireweed.
And as we recall, the first drive-in movie theater in Anchorage was the Billiken out in Muldoon. That was followed by the Sundowner Drive-In located behind the Fireweed Theater. Going to an evening movie at a drive-in theater in Anchorage had its challenges. In the summertime, it was difficult to see the movie on the screen because of the amount of sunlight. In the winter, you could see the screen, but you either had to use the little heater that was hanging from the speaker post, or you had to start your car and turn on your car heater for a while. But Alaskans are a hardy breed. Now here's a bonus. The Sundowner Drive-In also hosted rock acts in the 1970s, including Kiss, Rare Earth, and Savoy Brown. Well, we hear from our North Stars. By the way, that's you. And here's what some of them had to say following our look at the pioneering history of Anchorage. Irene had this memory. We lived in Anchorage from 1946 to 1963. My dad took us to the Garden of Eden for special occasions. We especially liked the roast beef served on a wooden plank with mashed potatoes all around the whole thing, uptown. Oh boy, Irene, that sounds delicious. And Avril recalled, I love and really appreciate reading the history of Alaska. I worked in Prudhoe Bay in the 1970s in security. Before that, I worked in reception for Mechanics Research, MRI, downtown. I remember having to take the blueprints to each camp by helicopter. I became a flight attendant for BP, British Petroleum, and the plane was leased from Alaska Airlines. It was a 727, and it was a wonderful experience. And RMM sent us this. Thanks for your site. I really enjoy your stories. Well, RMM, we appreciate hearing from you. Thank you. Well, Mary, our movie is over, and all the popcorn is gone. You know, we love hearing from our readers. Do you have a comment, or do you just want to say, I loved the 4th Avenue Theater? Get a hold of us. Until next time, Mike and Mary, the Anchorage Memories Club.